Hello, Capricorn. Thank you very much for tuning into your general read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Vailima Tarot by Renata Lechner. For the supportive oracle cards, I'm going to use the Magical Spell cards by Lucy Cavendish, illustrated by Jesse Reisch. Reisch is spelled R-E-I-S-C-H. Alright, already shuffled. Let's see what we have. Capricorn. Snap, snap. My first impression is you're in control of this. It feels like this is your baby, I would say, your situation, like you're calling the shots is what it feels like. Definitely there's some degree of control here. Because you got the Emperor with the Death card. And what I'm feeling like what you're coming into, are you leaving control or are you gaining control? Feels like you're gaining control, just to be sure. Something that's gone on in the past influenced you to the point where you had to have more control. And in this situation, you're definitely in a spot where you have more control of the situation. You know what you want. You know what you need to do. And you're, to some degree at least, you're calling the shots here. But when I'm getting the Death card with the Emperor is how you're coming in, there's a situation before this that was very similar to this same thing that you did not have the control. And that's why you made sure when this one started, you definitely needed to have more control. At least to a degree where you were comfortable that you wouldn't be out there, floating, waiting for somebody else to help you out. Okay. Now, and the situation started off that exact same way. You have the Sun card and you have the safe travel. When you got into this situation, you were able to call the shots. You wouldn't get involved with it unless you were able to. At least to a degree where you're comfortable. And I feel like I have to keep saying that, just in case you're like, well, I don't call all the shots. That could definitely be the case, but you feel safe enough to where, you influence the direction of what's going on. You feel like if you're left out in the middle of the ocean, you have the means to get somebody to help you, or you have the gear with you so you can actually move somewhere and actually do something about the situation. Now, the situation starts off great. The Sun card, safe travel, and I feel like safe travel is saying you get right into it and you're taking off in the situation. It's moving forward based on what you want. It goes really good. Starts off really great. Now, as you keep going in this situation, you're immediately connecting is what I'm getting. Immediately connecting with the familiarity of what you already know. It's a situation you've been a part of before. It's just the difference is now it seems like you have more control. And I'm getting here with that familiarity, I feel comes some responsibility in the sense of like you know what it feels like to be on the other side. And when I'm feeling this, you don't want anybody else to feel like they're under the gun or that they're out there floating just waiting for somebody else to help them when they feel like it. And you're very gracious and giving because of this, because you know what that feels like. So you're making sure that you don't want anybody else, if you can help it, to feel that way. And you're making sure that, things are balancing out before someone feels like they're floating there waiting for somebody to help them. You're trying to identify it before that happens. You want people to feel better than you felt when you were in that position. Now, you're creating a very stable, loyal, I want to say following or base, something like that. The people that you're helping, you're reaching out to, that you can help, that you have the degree of control with here, that you can help, they are becoming very loyal to you is what I'm getting. They very much appreciate how you look out for them. They understand where you're coming from. They very much depend on you to look out for them. They feel like they have to anyway. You're getting a lot of loyalty in return because of this. A lot of loyalty. And I'm getting a lot of loyalty with the Knight of Pentacles. Right now, that's how that card really hits for me. The thing is, as the situation goes forward, even though you may be calling the shots, variables come into play. Variables come into play, things have to be worked out. I'm getting the Four of Cups is saying the situation is really good still. It's very, very good still, in my opinion. But things have to be adjusted. Currents, like weather patterns, whatever you want to say is happening here. Something is throwing things around a little bit. You got to make adjustments. You have to make adjustments. It's just a natural flow is what I'm getting. That's why I'm using that weather analogy. Like, weather happens. Weather happens. You're not going to get away from it. So the natural flow is happening. You have to make some adjustments. The thing is, these adjustments that you have to make, you might actually leave somebody out there floating on their own for a little while. I feel like you're trying to give people heads up about that. But you're like, I'm sorry, but this it's the nature of the beast. There's nothing I can do about it except give you a little heads up where possible, if you can. And you're just trying to make it work. You're trying to make it work. It's the nature of the beast. Even though you have a lot of control here, certain things are going to happen regardless, and you're just going to have to roll with it. I'm getting the Seven of Wands for you. You really don't like leaving somebody out there floating on their own. It really bothers you, especially because you've been there. But you got to hold the situation together. That's your first priority. You got to hold the situation together. You can't just go and abandon things just because you don't want somebody to feel sad. You got to hold the situation together. You got to hold, like, it's like you're the captain of the ship. You're looking after the whole ship. You can't just abandon your duties to go, throw somebody a life preserver. You have to stay with the situation. The situation won't work out if you don't. It's almost like you're going through rough waters, and you have to stay on point. You have to keep focused. You have to make things work out. You can't go over and do side things while you're doing this. You have to stay focused. So you're doing your best with the situation that you can. I'm getting, though, while this is happening, I feel people are kind of like slipping out of your grasp a little bit. I feel like some people are kind of like fading off. I feel like there's some problems going on here. Some people are being less than optimal. I feel like there's some bad behavior going on here. Let's put it that way. Some people may flat out be leaving the situation, just kind of slipping away. Other people are just kind of pulling fast ones when they really shouldn't be. Maybe out of spite. I just feel like there's some things going on while you're focusing, and you have no choice but to focus on what you need to focus on. There's things are going wrong over here on the side. Some of these people that are left floating on their own are being less than the best. That's what I'm getting. Now, I feel this is happening. And when this is happening, you can't address it while it's happening. You just have no choice. You can't. You got other things you have to focus on. You can't address this when it's happening. But when that moment passes and you're through those rough waters, because it's going to pass. It is going to pass. This is what happens in the environment. The Queen of Pentacles with the authenticity. Everything that was done, all these missteps that happened, they're all being addressed at once. It's coming forward what happened and why, and if there's repercussions for that, then there's repercussions for that. The Queen of Pentacles tries to be compassionate, but will definitely hold to the law, is kind of what I'm feeling here. Things were set in motion. If things were done incorrectly, things have to be corrected. It's just not going to be... It just can't be allowed. Things just can't be skated by. So I'm getting like things are being corrected, and I feel you on this... Your card is the Queen of Cups. Like, you're trying to hold back your emotional involvement. I feel like you're disappointed in a few people, but I feel like there's people that you still care about, but you're a little disappointed, and you're keeping that to yourself. You're understanding, like, the situation got the better of a couple people. But I feel like you have a lot of care, and it means a lot to you. Like, you're highly invested in this situation. I feel like you're very compassionate to it. Even though you're disappointed, you're very compassionate. But even though you're very compassionate, you have some understanding, like, how that feels and why certain things happen. You're like, things still have to be corrected. Things still have to be put back in line. If there's repercussions, people have to ante up to their own repercussions. Like if somebody made a misstep, they have to correct their misstep. That's the basic responsibility there. So I feel like this moment happens. This is all in the future, I'm noticing. I just feel like you might be disappointed in a few people, because I feel like you're going to see more of the truth about a few people. I feel like that's the lesson to be learned here. It's one thing to view people the way you would have handled something, and there's another way to view people the way that they're going to handle something based on who they are. And I feel like that's the thing here. You're going to learn more about the people you're dealing with, even though they're very loyal to you. I feel like when the missteps happen, it's not so much about the loyalty they have to you, but the people that they truly are deep inside. And I feel like that's what you're going to view here. And that's what you're going to find out. And that's the purpose of this point, for you to really see who you're dealing with. All right. I think we're done here. All right. Thank you for watching. I hope that helps. If you'd like a direct reading from me, go ahead and shoot me an email. jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.